Can this skinny little all-in-one PA system replace your traditional PA on sticks with separate subs in a small venue? Well, Sweetwater sent me out the Bose L1 Pro to test, and I've put it through its paces, and I want to share how this might be a useful tool for you at your church. Well, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rylan. I'm a worship and media arts pastor here in Owasso, Oklahoma, always looking for budget-friendly solutions for our tech ministry needs. Oftentimes you find yourself at events, smaller venues around your church where you need a sound system. We've got a few different ones set up here where we've got speakers on sticks or mounted up on the walls and then separate soundboards, all just to get a handheld mic into the speakers. And that's where a system like this, the Bose L1 Pro, comes in and kind of solves a lot of the issues and makes your life a little bit easier. The speaker is made up of 16 2-inch little speakers that are kind of angled in different directions, because what's unique about this tower system is that it is a 180-degree spread. There's a lot of these different ones on the market now, you know, from Yamaha and Maui, and just there's a lot of other ones. But the reason I thought this one was really interesting is that super wide 180-degree coverage. And after testing, I can say the 180 degrees is pretty accurate. For your sub frequencies, you've got this interesting 10 by 18-inch subwoofer, and it really packs a punch. I was impressed. For as light as this system is to carry around and put together, the sub frequencies, they'll hit you in the chest. Speaking of carrying the system, it is a mobile system, so I think it weighs around 55 pounds all in all. Super easy to carry. It's got a carrying bag for the tower that you attach to the base, which is the sub and mixer combined. And then in this setup right now, I don't have the little spacer block, but you can actually make this a little bit taller if you need to get up above the crowd. The mixer section that's built into the subwoofer area has 3 different channels, 2 that are the combo XLR 1/4-inch jack inputs and 1 that is a 1/4-inch input. And that also shares the same volume attenuator with your Bluetooth connection that you can have. Phantom power is on board. It is connected between those 2 channels. Just know that whenever you're inputting your devices. So in order to really test this thing out, I had some friends putting on a concert at a local coffee shop here in town, and they needed a sound system, and so I offered to take this out and run sound for the event. It's the perfect system for a room like that. You know, just a small coffee shop. There was maybe 50 people in the room, and this was perfect because we could set it up against the back wall, and it was that 180-degree coverage, so people sitting in the corner could hear the music, and the musicians didn't even need monitors or front fills to be able to hear themselves because of the wide angle coverage. And I used the app, which came in really handy. I could sit on the other side of the coffee shop, connect to the speaker, and I was able to run the levels, you know, on the app and increase reverbs whenever they were singing and performing, and then dial them back whenever they were speaking, and that worked flawlessly. It was also nice being able to just pop into my Spotify and that Bluetooth connection and play music in between performances. Just know that your third input does share the Bluetooth input. And it was kind of like scaring me because, like, what if I got a call, or what if something else happened, or I opened up Instagram? Is that going to pipe over to the speaker? That didn't happen in my experience, but just keep that in mind if you are running a show that way. So I didn't really pump up the volume in that venue, but I have put it here in our worship center that seats about 500 people. And it's not quite there for that amount. I would say for maybe 150 to 200 people, this is a great system with plenty of headroom. I took it outside for another event and blasted some music out there, and great coverage, great clarity. And I think it's a really neat system that has some advantages over similar systems. Mainly the clarity of the sound, the coverage patterns, and the lightweight build that this speaker system has. There were a couple of oddities that I ran into whenever we used this out at the coffee shop. Number one is there's really not like a stereo imagery that you can dial in pans or anything like that if you were going to record a concert and need to have stereo tracks or something like that. So just keep that in mind unless you're using 2 of these systems perhaps. Another one is that there is no reverb on channel 3. So if maybe you wanted to have your guitar coming in that input and utilize the onboard reverb, you can't do that. And finally, one that kind of bugged me was that there is no actual master output level or fader either on the app or on the back of the speaker. So let's say you have everything dialed in where you want it and you just need to just dial it back a little bit for something else that's happening in the room. There's no master fader. And so you're going to be having to tweak all 3 different knobs or faders on the back of the unit or on the app. And that's my last one, is that it's actually knobs, not faders on the app, because it's kind of mirroring what's happening on here. But I found it very tedious to try and dial those in correctly with my finger on my iPhone. I just wish it was a fader. So Bose, if you're listening, in my opinion, that would make it easier to run the show live. So here's a quick test showing you the 180-degree coverage. It's so hard to get speaker sound to translate to you in a YouTube video, but at least maybe you can see the coverage from the microphone and see how wide of a dispersion pattern this speaker is. So who's this speaker for? I think it's perfect for churches that have a smaller kids space, that want to fill it with a simple setup, maybe a side venue, maybe you do picnics or outdoor events. This is great for something like that. So I'll link to this in the description from Sweetwater, where you can pick one up. If you have any questions for me about the Bose L16 Pro, let me know in the comments. And remember guys, we can do a lot of great things. Let's do it all for God's glory. We'll see you in the next one.